Right, so hello and welcome back to Books and Things, and welcome to another video, and welcome back to my TBR Advent Calendar. So my TBR Advent Calendar, my Vlogmas this year, is very kindly sponsored by Serious Readers, who make amazing reading lights like this one I have here. I'll leave more information down below about Serious Readers, some links, and also the offer code I have on at the moment. And I'll also leave down below a link to the introduction to the TBR Advent Calendar explaining what I'm doing. Although today I'm going to do something slightly different because I know that I'm not going to have time to read a full book physically today, but I did just finish off listening to a very short audiobook that I've been listening to for the last couple of days. So I will, instead of picking something off my TBR Advent Calendar today, do an audiobook one, which maybe will just be what happens on Sundays, slash I guess this video will go off on a Monday, but Sundays are just quite busy at this time of year for me, so I know I won't have time to read something physically. But I did just finish listening to The Ring and the Rose by William Makepeace Thackeray, and I was listening to it while doing lots of festive baking of gingerbread, so I thought you might like to see some festive baking, and I will put some footage in and then tell you about the book. I also thought it would be nice to have a full video about The Rose and the Ring because I'm currently hosting a Victorian Christmas read-along. We read A Christmas Carol last week, and then this week we've read The Ring and the Rose. Well, I guess last week, by the time you see it, this will still go up tomorrow, but anyway. And then this coming week we're reading Mary Elizabeth Braddon's The Christmas Hirelings. But yeah, The Ring and the Rose was the only one of the three I hadn't read before. Is it The Ring and the Rose or is it The Rose and the Ring? Every time I say it, I feel like I've got it wrong, but anyway, this was an interesting one. It is a fairy story, really. It's not very festive. Like, it's not really a Christmas story, but it's designed to be like a fairy story of pantomime, I think is the word Thackeray uses for children at Christmas, is what he says in the introduction. You can see that it's meant for children, although there are some like violent bits, but I guess that is kind of Victorian fairy tales and children's stories. I quite like that. It has that sort of Alice in Wonderland feel, though with more of a plot and more of a sort of like fairy's tale meets Alice in Wonderland. So we know at the beginning there's a king and a queen, and they have usurped their nephew. And their nephew has kind of been brought up in ignorance in order to like stop him trying to take the throne back. And then there's also another princess who's been denied her rightful place, and then there's also a fairy who's sort of keeping her eye on them both. And the story kind of progresses from there. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. It's no like Christmas Carol or The Christmas Hirelings. But I enjoyed it more than I was kind of expecting to. I feel like most people reading it for the read-along haven't especially gelled with this one. And so I could kind of see some of the Discord like notifications popping up before I started reading it, and I was like, oh, no one else seems to be enjoying it. I feel like I'm not going to. But I did actually enjoy it more than I was expecting to because of that. I thought it was quite fun, and I really liked the narrative style. It's written in that sort of very Victorian like fireside storytelling way, where the narrator addresses you. It's all written tongue-in-cheek, which I really enjoyed. It's written in, you know, the sort of similar style to A Christmas Carol, I would say, and there were some very entertaining bits of ridiculousness that the author intended to be ridiculous, which I really enjoyed. But I would say the story itself is not that interesting. And there's also a few bits of the humour that are quite mean-spirited. So there's sort of an older woman who's in love with a younger man, and she's sort of just like mocked and laughed at for being ugly in a way that's just, you know, very Victorian and very like, all a bit of a mixed bag. But I quite enjoyed it, and I would try some of William Makepeace Thackeray's other Christmas stories. So I listened to an audiobook of this. I listened to a LibriVox audiobook, which is all right actually. I don't listen to LibriVox recordings very much, mostly because I suppose I read a lot of British classics, and the vast majority of LibriVox audiobooks are narrated by Americans in an American accent, and there's something quite jarring about reading a British Victorian book in an American accent, which there probably isn't if you all are American, because then an accent is neutral, but because it isn't for me, then it's like disorientating. But I thought I would find more time to listen to this rather than read it, and I thought it'd be a fun thing to listen to while baking over the last couple of days. So I did listen to the LibriVox audiobook recording, which was actually fine, and I feel like I forget that actually if you're listening to an audiobook, you kind of stop noticing the accent after a little bit. So I did kind of get more into it. I think it was a book that lends itself to being spoken aloud because of that real like storytelling voice, and the sort of wry silliness of it works quite well aloud. So I do wish there was a more sort of formal audiobook done of it, because I think that would be quite good. But yeah, I'm glad I read it. It was quite fun. I don't have anything more to say about it. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this slightly different TBR Advent Calendar. I'll be back to picking something off my physical Advent Calendar tomorrow, but I thought I would slip this in. And like I said, I don't mind using audiobooks for this if I am running out of time, and I think they're quite good for busy weekends. But yes, this coming week I should have quite a lot more time to read, which I'm excited for. So yeah, that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow with another bookish video.